I mean, you've already sat down.
Want to meet me?
Go downhill twice.
Want to give me a job? Things will never be the same. Things will never be the same.
Yes, yeah, so, it's obviously short.
And then I'm going
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the Westfield Leader, advertised on January 9, 2014. Notification was sent to the Star Ledger and prominently posted on the municipal public bulletin board and filed in the office of the municipal clerk, informing the public of the time and place according to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Law, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. At this point, I would like to ask everyone to turn off their, or put on vibrate their cell phones or other communication devices if you want to call, or send a message of some kind. Would appreciate it if you would do it out in the hall, as it is a distraction. Tonight, we have a representative here from the RVSA, Mr. Green, and he's going to be bringing us up to date on a particular issue that's going on with the RVSA. Steve, you can sit over here and watch Mr. Mariella. Yes, Steve.
Please, come on now. Can't do a lot there. Well, I think I was asked to just kind of try to get some clarification on a deed correction that was sent out by the RBSA. And basically, what happened was that back in 1930s, the 9 municipalities, the original joint venture, anyway, it was a predecessor to the RBSA, and there was property purchased under 2 deeds. The one deed carried through all the way up until 2004. At that time, the second part of that deed was incorporated, showing that the RBSA owned the entire piece of property. Unfortunately, on the formal documents, that creates a problem for the RBSA, especially for going into grants and looking for loans, low interest loans from the state. So with that, it was recommended by our attorney that we send out an amended document to the council, and it will go through 2 readings and then become part of the permanent record, just as clarification and to straighten out that one situation that exists. Now, I don't know if you had questions or comments or.
I don't know if anybody has any questions with regard to this.
So this is just a formality,
Yeah, basically that's all it is.
and all the municipalities are doing this?
The original 9.
The original 9 that are
Yeah.
listed on here, they're all doing the same?
Yep.
I don't have anything else.
Anybody?
Mayor, silly question, Steve, right, because I guess, where exactly is this property? Is this the RB?
This is the actual
property
RBSA
itself? It's not,
property.
it's the proper site,
Right.
okay.
All right, if nobody has any questions, thank you very much for your explanation.
Okay, and if you'd like, I can give some updates.
Yeah, what you do?
Right now, finally, the Occidental Chemical litigation has come to a close, and we are in the process of receiving reimbursements from our insurance carriers for litigation expenses incurred. So that's a positive.
Yes.
That's one litigation on the table. The LBSA has been identified to be in the top contention for granting low-interest loans, and that's what was driving this whole process, was so that we can get some grant money from the state for some environmental upgrades to the RBSA.
All right.
So this money could be used for plant and equipment upgrades, such as digester cleaning, gas cleaning systems. We have been, and part of that was because had been identified based on a successful handling of Hurricane Sandy and the surges that transpired, and the ability for this facility to be able to handle the surges, and in addition to take on some or helping out with some of the other authorities, which we are still doing. Flooding occurred in the administrative building just about 3 weeks ago, wiped out the entire first floor. The insurance will cover that, but it's a bit of a mess down there. So if you're coming down to come to one of the meetings, it's going to be held in a very small room and very tight room. So I would suggest maybe waiting until we have better quarters. Cogeneration facility litigation is ongoing. We have a 3rd mediation session that's been scheduled for June. We just had a successful financial audit by Suffolk & Clooney with no discrepancies found. And we received 2 awards from the Association of Environmental Authorities. One for best management practices, and the second one for public education based on the program that within the RBSA, bringing a lot of school children through the RBSA and introducing them into the whole process of waste management. With that, that's pretty much it.
Just one question.
Sure.
So, during Hurricane Sandy, the facility stayed online, everything operated beautifully.
Yeah. I mean, they struggled, and they had to do some ingenious things to have the black start, which was to bring on the electrical portion of it the correct way, but it worked very well. And that's one of the reasons we received the awards, was for that process.
How many tours, school tours have you had through there?
I think they've had now up to 900 kids. It's been going on for about a year, I guess.
And how do they respond to going
Oh,
to the
it's-
sewer processing?
It's been very well.
What age
Like,
category?
where
are
you
you
see.
speaking to?
They go from grammar school up through high school. Yeah. So the only caveat to that is that they have to sign waivers when they bring them down, you know, something like that. Waiver by their parents that liability wise.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple things. First of all, congratulations on the 2 awards. That sounds great for the RBSA.
Yeah.
With the school groups coming through, I was wondering, were the Garwood schools a part of that yet, or,
They have not been yet.
but they're aware of it?
They're aware. Oh yeah, they're aware.
Okay, I figured that. Okay, that's a good thing. And also, I know we've spoken about this earlier in the year, but could you speak a little bit to the rolling average? And we saw an increase in the RBSA, this year in our budget, but could you speak to that a little bit for the council's benefit and the public?
Sure, it's the 5-year rolling average is pretty much just that. It's where you take the average of your percentage for your town to contribute to the entire budget of the RBSA. And that's based on your flow and your solids that are within that flow rate. As you either increase or decrease your populace or your flows, the prior year's rate gets dropped off and the new year is taken on. So if you're in an increasing mode for those high years and you're dropping off a low percentage of contributions to the budget, then you're going to wind up seeing an increase. And that's basically a mathematical process. It's not something that you can necessarily control.
Right. So how does that look for Garwood then, next year?
Next year, we're still going to see probably an increase. And that's because we're going to drop off a low percentage from the last year and or the prior 5th year, and we're going to take on a slightly higher percentage.
Okay. Thank you. I think it's beneficial for the public that we, inform them about that. Since you're here, perfect opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
As, just a comment, as we work to try to control our expenses, it's tough because, it's a large expense.
Mhm.
And, as it is, we have, the 3 components. We have the school board, which we really can't do anything about, and we have the county stuff, which we can't do anything about. And then
Right.
we look at the portion we do control, and within that, so it's a tough wrap, really, for us.
I understand that. I really do.
Whatever you can do.
And what we are doing, honestly, I mean, the RBSA is, with the new leadership we have, over the last 3 years, they're doing some really unique things and trying to cut costs and actually bringing in additional revenue. With that, I think I mentioned it maybe the last week, or the last time I was here, but as an example, with assisting some of these authorities that were damaged by Hurricane Sandy, we've taken on processing of some of their sludge, and with that, the revenue that goes with it. So we're getting somewhere in the range, I think it's 400,000 for as far as supplementing or helping some surrounding communities. So, I mean, they're looking to do as much as they possibly can to help the local communities.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We have a necessity this evening to go.
What's that?
Council did then urgently to put that ordinance, present that ordinance in the council meeting.
From RBSA? Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
We have the necessity to go into executive session this evening. Mr. Newfield is here with us, architect from, the architect project, so, Ms. Ariana, you have.
Yes, I do. Closed session resolution authorizing an executive session for the purpose of discussing anticipated litigation relating to the contract for construction for the athletic field complex project in which the public body may become party and matters returning to client privilege relating to the above in accordance with NJSA closed session meetings open to public, exclusion of public, subject of matter. Whereas it is necessary that the mayor and council of the borough of Garden conduct an executive session closed to the public in order to discuss the following above listed matters. Now therefore be it resolved that the council of the borough of Garden hereby moves to go into executive session in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act for the purpose of discussing subjects stated above, and be it further resolved that the matters discussed in and the minutes of the closed session shall be disclosed to the public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. Yes.
Can I have a motion? Can I have a motion for executive session?
Second.
Thank you.
Mayor, is this one that we could put up to
No, Mr. Newfield has another point, that's why we want to
Basically the same one that was there.
I would have put it at the end if I could.
Yeah.
Ms. Morales.
Absolutely.
Mr.
Don?
Morales.
You're not there, you're gonna answer something. Don't worry.